Hello traders and good weekend. Vladimir here, and this is the weekly live Forex review, not just Forex, markets review for the first official week of December 2016. We are talking about the week that starts today, 4th of December. So, as you might know, today there is a very important day in Europe. And we are talking about the votes in Italy. Votes that could make the current Prime Minister resign and give up on his position and open the doors for new elections and maybe the new party that will be the leader to take Italy out of the Eurozone. This is the main fear of the entire Eurozone and basically from this vote. Rumors are giving 75% to the party of the no vote to win, but I wouldn't rely on that only too much. We know that Donald Trump did not get many of the chances. We know that Brexit almost did not have any chances, and yet these two things happen, and in a year that everything happens surprising way, this could be another surprise, and that could be the trigger of the last moves for this year. So rumors already say that if the no will win, the no vote will win, then the next elected party would be those that will support to leave the Eurozone, and such thing could renew the fear in the market. Eurozone in any way in a very bad shape, and if more and more countries like Italy will start to join that view that it's time to leave the Eurozone, you understand yourself when it's going to lead us. Another fact is that it happens during weekend, and that means that we could expect some gaps to the upside or the downside, depends when the vote and how the vote will actually go. In a few hours we will know the answers to that question. So my goal is now to make you prepared for this possibility. So if the yes wins, there is a very good chance that we are going to see the Eurozone gapping up, correcting and continuing higher, keeping moving inside the weekly channel. As we are in this range, there is still a very good chance we are going to move inside this range, at least for some time. If we can see no, that could be the beginning of the bearish continuation, the same continuation that would take the euro dollar maybe for new lows that could take it all the way towards below parity, like 0.95 or so, like this area. And if we observe these cycles, okay, this is basically where the euro dollar could find itself bottoming right here. Yes, we can see the bullish divergence potentially creating itself. Ideally, we will need one more low for that to happen, and this news today would be the leading news for deciding the next direction. So what do we do? All depends on the results, of course. Positive results and with the bullish gap retraces, we can look for buy opportunities. Don't jump with the gap and don't try to bet on closing the gap. That might not work on such weekends. So I wouldn't put my money on this gamble. But definitely after that, depends on the results, would be looking to trade on that direction, positive or negative. Same with the pound dollar that gained some very good momentum last week, as the rumors now are moving from avoiding the Brexit at the end, or at least getting much better negotiations, rumors all around. We are about to get the 38% get reached if there will be no surprises. Of course, many things would be lying down based on the news we will get from Italy, but currently, as long as this trend line holds and the supportive area around the 123, 124 holds, bullish pressure remains, and we expect it to go towards 138. And yes, buy retraces down should be still the favorite plan. Again, we have to make sure the market does not go nuts after this vote in Italy, and every time we can get get this pair here on this buy action zone, we can look for buy opportunities taking us to the desired level of the 131, 132, the 38%. Unless again the news from Italy change the game and will affect the entire market. As for now, I don't see that happen. Even if the shock would be there, I don't think it would be for too long, but we will see. That leads me to the next major pairs, New Zealandian dollar. We are still in a sell mode on the short term. The biggest question, are we going for the ranging movement right now, like here? Or are we after second leg of correction down towards 068, 067? Watching on a daily chart, this could turn to be a range, especially after two false breaks in a row and one false break on the bottom. We still could see that going to here and then one more push down. And alternatively, we had triple move down here, which we have been talking on the previous week. Right? We have a movement right now. We start to see this divergence potentially created. Now, if we put on this corrective cycle, what can we learn? That we might get a stop right here on the 61.8. That's doable, that's possible, that's logical, as we have the divergence and we have the bearish pressure from higher time frames. We might get a duplication, which means 0.72 plus. And we might even rally to the top of the range again, which is 0.7350 and higher, before we actually make it one more time again. So how can we start to look for the sell opportunities? We will need to make sure we get a false breaks. As we try to join the higher forces, we need to get one false break, and that would be enough to start to look for the attacks. Two ways to attack. One, to mark the last trend line and sell the breakout. It will give a great risk reward. And the way which is more conservative would be to get a false break and then lower lows, two waves up and a breakout down. This way we eliminate some fake moves, potential fake moves, and yet we get a good risk reward. Just a bit more patience until these things develop, and of course no one guarantees we would get two waves up as corrections, so the chances we also might miss it. So aggressive versus conservative, advantages versus disadvantages, and every trader should define for himself or herself which way is preferred. Australian dollar also so far moving inside this daily range. Pretty good chances, I would say. It's almost following the New Zealandian dollar. I still think we require one more low here before the continuation up. So I would be looking to do exactly like with the New Zealandian dollar and try to go for sells. Neither from the 61.8 if the divergence takes place or the duplication. Again, depends on where divergence takes place. And again, don't blindly sell. Look for the same setups, neither false break and then the trendline breakout, or false break, lower lows first of all to regain the bearish momentum. Two waves up and then the breakout. Now, if we take a look and observe some potential tops for New Zealandian dollar, the beginning of this week is really powerful, as you can see, third and fourth. Now, what could happen if we do not hold these days as tops? We could continue higher, and then the next important days for us would be 10, 11, 12, 14. So basically the beginning of the next week would be monster important as well. So that's why I say don't rush, wait for the setup to happen. And this way we would be smarter. In terms of Aussie dollar, if we take a look on the dates, it's pretty much the same. First, third, fourth, very, very powerful, and then we move for the next week only. And that's why, again, we are in a good place for a sell, but we don't really want to force that, right? So we are waiting for the good opportunities to happen, which means false break and switch of the momentum. That's a safe way to play that, and a very good way to get a great risk reward. And remember, in that trading, it's all about the risk reward. Now, if we take a look on the view of sell action zone or buy action zone, we can see that the Aussie dollar is already sitting on a very important levels. One is here, next one is here, and the third one is here. Surprisingly or not, they all are basically correlated, with the cycles, you see. This is the 100, this is the 61.8, this is the 100, that's 161.8. Surprisingly, no, not really, because on cycles levels, very important sell zones, buy zones tend to happen. Same with the pound dollar, right, and the levels we have been talking about, and same with the euro dollar. We are very far for action zone, and of course the New Zealandian dollar, right? So again, it's coming hand by hand, and it's very, very good to follow that. Aussie Kiwi is another one that I am looking for long-term buys. You remember I rely on the monthly cycle. We are next to the bottom, which means we still can play lower. We still can see 103, we still can see 101, we still can see new low. But we are in a very good buy zone followed by the bullish divergence, so we are only after buy opportunities. Investment is the ideal part. If not as investment, then we will need to get on a daily or the 4-hour chart for a long run. False breaks, momentum will change. This will be the false break, right? Attempt to break down and to fail. Higher highs to be created, pull back, and then we can talk about the buys. If it's for investment, that's a great levels to hold buys and let it go, because for long run there is a very good chance the reversal will take us again to 113, very likely even to the 118, 120 zone. So for those of you have a big passions, that's a great one to follow. Now let's talk about dollar Canadian, which I love a lot. It looks like finally we're ready to make the move down, especially after OPEC decision to cut the production. The cut gains very good momentum. We got the break below the last low, which means we can look for sales. This is the break I refer to, of course. Currently we have here a kind of a triple cycle, so pullbacks towards 133.50, ideally the higher the better, but as long as this trend line holds, the closer we get to that, the better the sales we gain. We should start the attack to the downside as long as the last stop actually holds. So get ready for action there. Look for sales and sales only. For the short term, we still can talk about middle of this cycle, which is around 130. And for the long run, the duplication of the weekly cycles, the 61 of it would be again around the previous low, which is here around 123, 122, and maybe future duplication around 114. I know that sounds ridiculous right now, but so did the the sell we suggested on the beginning of the year when we were on top. And you all remember that, of course, if you were around to listen to my predictions. In terms of the days, dollar CAD had its good top, right? We started the top from the previous months, and we got it around 15, 16, which is 16 was the very, very good top. Even this correction ended on 28, which is very powerful date here on the top. So we are very good to look for sales. Now, if we get some corrections, the very good days to watch for that is actually anything between 1st to 8. See, we have 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 5th, 6th, 8th. So all this week, every correction up into waves actually supported to look for sales. That's what I believe we are after sales for the long run, sell the rallies is the right thing to do. Which brings me to pairs like New Zealand Canadian and Aussie Canadian, which I still expect a very serious move down. For New Zealand Canadian, by ideal, we should get a movement here inside this kind of potential ranging, and by ideal I want to see some kind of pullback like this before reselling. Every correction, look to sell. It's the weekly cycle correction is on, and the idea here is sell, sell, sell. How low we aim? First of all, the 38.2 of this duplication, which would be 0.93. Later on, we are talking about the bigger cycle, the triple cycle here, which could take us all the way to 0.85. Really monster cycle here. Aussie CAD also looks bearish, and I wouldn't change the view here. There is no bullish divergence on weekly. There is no yet bullish divergence on daily, only potential. So I would be looking only for sell rallies versus the last stop and for continuation. In terms of levels to watch, we have 60 went much lower, that's 0.9750, so more than 100 pips to the downside. Duplication is even below 0.96. Really good levels to watch to trade, and we have a trend line meeting us on the 100. So sell rallies is a very smart thing to do here. And the cat franc pair that I love to long for the long run, but on the short run, started from last week, actually provided some sell opportunities which failed. Now it's on the 4-hour chart, false breaks. What I want to see here is actually false break, right, with momentumal change. So what I would like really to see is a false break, lower lows, 2 waves up, and then with the breakout try this short, sell, aiming the rallies after that again according to the monthly cycle. Just want to remind you, we expect it to go higher, much higher. So sell rallies short term. Once false break goes hand by hand with momentum change for lower lows, and only after that look for longs again, from ideally from around 0.7450 and lower. Now let's talk about the crosses a bit. Pound New Zealandian looks good for the correction to continue this 2-wave cycle. For me, the plan wasn't remain the same. Look to buy drops. Every drop that will be there, look to buy. I believe we are going to a 191. First step, I believe we are going for the next level, which would be approximately 201 on the further step. So buy retraces wasn't remain the plan. Same for the pound Aussie, same exactly basically. We do have the bullish divergence on the monthly and the weekly, and I believe corrections should provide opportunities to go long. For pound versus the Aussie, I think we are going to 181, 182, which would be my target. So look to long retraces. That's the direction for this pair. Dollar yen. Oh, how beautiful is this one? We've been talking about that for many times and many days. Remember, the beginning of the month is very powerful. We are there right now. We bounced exactly where we wanted from. As we didn't hold the 113 range, we continued to 115 area, and we make the bounce from. So the question would be now, are we good for correction already or not? Two scenarios that we want to get. Basically, if this is a false break, I want to see triple move here, double move here, correction, and then with the breakout we go for sell. Or alternatively, we get the retrace up from here for one more rally, one more false break, then we can go for sells, and for conservative sell, momentum will change, retrace, and sell again. The dates are with us, the cycles are with us, and also if we take a look on the where is that here, if we take a look here, we can see a very powerful action zone on a daily chart, on a weekly chart, and on the 4-hour chart. everywhere. Very, very powerful. So zone of action, sell action. Get ready for action there. And the euro yen, same story, reached a monster zone. Many things would depend on news from Italy, but euro yen is also has a monster dates. It's actually from beginning of the month and today and 7th and 9. All this period is very, very serious for bearish only. The only advantage on the euro yen that we already got two false breaks and momentum will change. So sell make a lot of sense versus this stop that could be a very, very good ride down. And for per this special or triple cycle on the 4-hour chart, we should get it in between 38 to 50, which means we have a lot to go. Risk reward is in our favor. Look for this one, looks very, very good. And if there will be new top, also fine. Again, we are in a great place. One more top is good. False break, lower lows on the 4-hour chart, momentum will change, and then we are after sells. Idea remains the same. In terms of dates, we have it confirmed, and in terms of the levels, same story. We are in a very, very good action sell zone on every chart we are looking at. So very good time to act. Gold and silver. Gold ended very, very well with this false break, which is a pattern I love. The question would be, what is going to happen now in Italy? Will the situation make everyone run again to the commodities or not? I want to get this false break completed, which it did. I want to get these higher highs created, then retrace and get into the buys. If we recreate the lows, then we might get it much lower, such as 1130 or so. So same for the silver, which looks really nice, creating everything we wanted to see. The triple cycle here also looks good. Divergence looks good. False breaks look good, and we need to go above the last high, which is 1690. Break above this high, and then we can look to buy retraces versus the top. And again, it will depend on what is coming out of the Italian vote during this weekend. S&P, well, very interesting one. Take a look what happened here. Okay, which here we go. You see, it was about to close a false break on a weekly chart, but it didn't. Which means theoretically the bulls can take it over and run it for the last time towards 2300, 2400, which is still acceptable levels. These levels come from the monthly chart, which is the biggest monster possible for the analysis here. And take a look where it gets us to, guys. This is the place. Okay, that's the 2200 level, and this would be the 61.8, the 2400 level. See, that's the monster I refer to, and this is what we deal with. Monthly divergence, weekly divergence, false breaks potentially all around. If this false break is about to complete, that might be a beginning of something big. And I say might be because after the elections in the US, the environment is still positive. The question would be again, what will happen in Italy today? What will happen with the FOMC meeting on Wednesday in next week, during the next week? That's the two factors that will decide if 2016 was the last leg of the bulls or not. So what can we do? Get ready for action. That's basically all. US oil looking good, and looks like the second leg started to the upside. We expected that to happen, and it happens right now. Based on the duplication principles, we are after 58, very likely. So for us, sell rallies. That's what it is about. So we want to get 2 waves down and look. Sorry. Buy valleys, not sell rallies. Pardon. And we want to go long. Okay. So basically, currently we have this duplication, even a bit further now. we want to see any pullback into waves and look to buy. Aiming the 58, this is what it is about for the oil. That will be all for now, friends, and I wish you wonderful weekend and great trading week to come. Thank you very much for watching, and if you like that, please leave your feedback, your comments. If you have any question about any of the setups or any interesting setup to share with us, please do. Feel free to share with anyone you believe can have a benefit by watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks again for your time. See you soon. Yours, Vladimir Ribakov.